Today I fucked up by immaculate ejaculation. So this happened a month ago and it's one of the most embarrassing dating stories I have, and it still haunts me and may haunt me forever. Alright, so first date with a girl off a dating app, we're vibing pretty hard and there's some sexual flirtation and environmental foreshadowing. 2 slugs at the table we were drinking at were humping, so I try to figure out delicately with words if we gonna bonk, and she blushes and says next time, then gives me an irresistible look that confirms she isn't kidding about next time. But time in her town and the last train home for me is about 11 p.m. I suggest I leave to walk back to the train stations around 10:30, she convinces me to stay a bit longer and that she'll call me one of the local taxis to get me back to the station. Alright, every single taxi company she calls has no free cars and I realize I'm stuck 30 miles from home at midnight with a girl I just met who is profusely apologizing and blaming herself. My horny immoral mind realizes I can salvage something. Say I'll just get a hotel, but on the way there she keeps apologizing and ends up inviting me back to her place to make up for it. I'm very aware she probably didn't want to have sex considering she said next time. As we're standing in her room awkwardly avoiding the fact it was time to get into bed, I'm forced to ask the awkward question, so do you sleep with all your clothes on or? I normally sleep in my underwear. She told me to go ahead, so I undressed and got into her bed before she got in, fully clothed. We cuddle for a bit, then share a glance and my temptations begin to kick in. I thanked her for letting me stay even though it wasn't her original plan, but told her that I really wanted to kiss her. The kiss became making out, and she was very intense and touchy, and I honestly couldn't tell what she wanted. It was driving me crazy, so I thought I might as well try my chances. Moved my hand slowly down her waist and of course she stopped me. Not tonight. She was an amazing kisser and I couldn't stop thinking about it all night. So I lay there pressed up against her cuddling for 7 hours, unable to sleep the whole time, boner poking out of my underwear, trying my hardest to make sure she doesn't notice. I am 100% sure I have never been hornier in my life. I was erect for at least 80% of the 7 hours and my balls started to viscously ache by hour 3. I feel like it's immoral to even say this, but every time she readjusted her sleeping position and slightly brushed my crotch, it was the sweetest torture. We were only spooning, but her fully clothed body felt so good. Every time I started falling asleep I realized my hands were wandering places they shouldn't, so I stopped trying to fall asleep altogether. Around 7 a.m. I can tell she's starting to wake up because she's moving her hands around my back, etc. She opens her eyes and looks at me with a seductive smile that once again made me wonder what the fuck is going through her head. The body touching slowly gets more intense and I realized I had a genuine problem. It feels like I'm actually getting sexual pleasure from simple caressing. I've never had a problem with premature ejaculation, but spending hours upon hours sharing a bed with a girl I just met, hornier than I'd ever been, had made me hypersensitive. The problem is confirmed when her hand explores new territory and brushes the skin just below my belly button and I literally have to recoil backwards. What's wrong? She asks me. I decide to just come out and nervously say I've been laying here awake horny as fuck for 7 hours. And now you're all handsy. She said she was horny too and wanted it but has a first date rule. I was about to say that's classy and respectable or something when she leans in and starts making out with me and grinding. The way she kissed, I started to lose it and I realized there was no way I could have sex with her because I wouldn't last very long. That was an understatement. She started to lift up my underwear strap with her fingers, about to delve deeper when it happened. Nothing was currently touching my penis at the time. I ejaculated from being touched a few inches below my belly button. Like really hard too. I couldn't hide it as I twitched about everywhere. She was obviously pretty surprised. She seemed understanding and seemed heartfelt when she said she had a good time and wanted to see me again. But well, she stopped replying and I guess I know why. Too long didn't read, lay in bed with girl on first date horny as fuck and unable to sleep for 7 hours. Then when she changed her mind in the morning and got touchy, I nut with no direct stimulation. This is one of the most embarrassing stories in my life, and the fact it ruined what was a really nice date with a nice girl still fucks me up. Edit. Alright, I don't know whether I like the fact that this post blew up, but I kind of half knew as I shamefully walked out of her house that this would make a strong "today I fucked up" post, and I guess I was right. I messaged her today asking her to be honest if she stopped responding because of the morning thing. She said it was because I didn't message her for a week, then asked her if she wanted to come over. I messaged her the same day a few hours after I left thanking her for a nice time and that I was hoping to see her again. I figured if she wanted to talk she would start a convo, and my approach to dating is don't be the person who always starts convos. And the fact she didn't start one gave me the idea that she wasn't much of a texter, which is cool. Apparently I was supposed to text her throughout the week. No way I could have known that, and I don't see why it's on me to do that. She said the fact I asked her to come over offended her and that I thought she was easy. Oh yeah, not my kinda girl anyway if she has those kinds of insecurities about sex and presumes that I know she wants to be texted a lot. Is no one gonna mention this guy said two slugs were fucking and he took it as foreshadowing? Why didn't you go to the bathroom and jerked off? Tactical wank. Edit, I thank you all for making my highest rated comment, probably of all time, about secretly rubbing one out. Never change Reddit, you filthy animals. Man, this exact thing happened to me with a guy, except his car got trapped in a public car park as we didn't know it closed at a certain time, and it wasn't our first date. I just had my period super heavy. We were making out a lot and I wanted it too, so it was heavy makeout sessions. Then when I woke up the next morning I kissed him, was sort of on top of him, and as I moved my hands down his chest he came and I both felt his body tremble and the cum soaking his undies and my pajamas. He promised me that wasn't normal for him and I believed him, and now we've been dating almost 3 years. If a guy comes fast, it's because you turn him on. That's not a bad thing. Would consider it a huge goddamn victory if a girl came from me barely touching her. Massive F for you, dude. Never understand why some people don't reply after all this. I'd personally prefer just an I'm not interested text. But your hypersensitivity and a whole night of restless foreplay beats many a man. Hopefully you'll be laughing at this one day, my man. Remember, bathrooms are a godsend for blue ball scenarios like this. No bathrooms on first date. Today I fucked up by squeezing a mango onto my asshole to be sexy. This happened like 3 months ago and I'm finally over the embarrassment enough to talk about it. Fairly short story. I'd like to preface this by saying I was an extremely heavy drinker at the time, which tended to influence my decision making. Now I'm just a regular heavy drinker, so everything is fine. This happened while I was still with my ex. She had an extremely high sex drive and loved to experiment in bed. I introduced her to Reddit and she immediately started following all these porn subs, looking for positions and etc. for us to try. I'm definitely not as sexually adventurous as she is, and 99% of the time she was the one that would initiate everything. Around the last few days of us dating, she had brought up eating ass and said she wanted to try it on me. The idea disgusted sober me, but as I was intoxicated 7% of the time, I tended to be very why not? About pretty much everything. I initially told her no because it just felt weird to me, but she brought it up a few times and then caught me on a day that I was immensely fucked up and I agreed to try. So, I run down the street to buy another bottle of whiskey for us, mainly me, to drink, and things started to get hot and heavy. Not with the liquor store guy but with my ex. We decided to shower together and she shaved my asshole. She accidentally nicked me, which I didn't feel at all at the moment, but she did a great job. Again, normally that'd be very weird for me, but I was hilariously intoxicated. To the shower, we're making our way back to the bedroom to do sex, and this great idea dawned on me. Why not make it delicious for her and use like whipped cream or something on my asshole? Told her to go warm herself up and I went into her fridge to find something sexy and delicious, but she mostly orders out and only ever buys fruit from the supermarket, so all she had in her fridge was apple juice and a few mangoes. So I grabbed one of the mangoes and peeled it. I think this is also a great time to mention I'm highly allergic to most fruits, and I also have never eaten a mango before. I barely eat fruit. Anyways, since I was still naked, after peeling it I just bent over and squeezed the fuck out of my mango right onto my ass so all the juices permeated my hole. There was a slight tingle because she had nicked me, but aside from that it felt like a job well done. I go back to the room and things get nasty. About 30 minutes in, she goes to eat my ass, I don't really remember this part, but she filled me in, but comments that things are looking a bit weird back there. I don't remember my reply, but long story short, she had to get my EpiPen, and because we're not very well informed, we assumed you had to inject it into the place that is exhibiting any visible reactions to the allergy. So she injected me in the ass, but it didn't seem to help. I definitely remember what that felt like. It wasn't fun. The EpiPen didn't really seem to work, and I vaguely remember feeling like I couldn't breathe as well as before. So she called 911 and everything was pretty much fine afterwards. Except our relationship, because we broke up a few days later. So, too long didn't read. I tried to be sexy by squeezing mango onto my asshole and had a bad allergic reaction. Find me on Insta if you'd like to see me being annoying 24/7 at Larry Potter. Edit, for anyone wondering how a grown-ass adult doesn't know how to use an EpiPen when he's supposedly highly allergic to something. I've never used it on myself before and didn't get one until way later in life. Also, I'm a drunk idiot and probably would have fucked that up even if I were reading the instructions. I understand how unbelievable it all seems, and honestly I wish it was all fake, because then I'd probably still have a girlfriend, but alas, with my lonely ass. Edit 2, yes, I have a drinking problem. I'm working on it. Edit 3, although my ex had a habit of pressuring me to do a lot of sexual things, I always said yes. So please don't imply I was raped or assaulted or something. I was uncomfortable, but she never forced me to do anything. I do appreciate the PMs of people offering their support, though it's not necessary. I'm honestly just impressed you managed to peel a mango while drunk without losing a finger. I'm very good at things I shouldn't be doing drunk while drunk. One allergic reaction was enough for her to let her mango. I'm kindly asking you to leave. I'm giving you an A+ for effort at least. Thank you. My butthole would get a D+. It takes two to tango, but don't mess with the mango. Dead ass fuck mangoes. They never did anything good for anyone, tbh. I tried to be sexy by squeezing mango onto my asshole. For anyone wondering, this part was enough of a fuck up without the allergic reaction. 15 ways to not pleasure your lover. Today I fucked up by being a gentleman for my mom. I don't usually open doors for anyone, but recently I've been trying to be more chivalrous because that's fucking awesome. What better way than opening the car door for my sweet mom? I park the car like a boss, turn it off like a light switch, get out like I'm about to finish, go to her door like a graceful gentle teen, and open it. What I saw was my portal to this world. She was in a dress, full on commando. She didn't notice that I noticed, but I noticed that I noticed, and I didn't want to notice that I noticed, but I did. Now I'm scarred. Too long didn't read. Spawn point located. NBSP, edit, some Q&A. Is she hot? And NBSP, she's my mom and I'm not into incest. Sorry brothers. That's a no. And NBSP, how's the trimmings? And NBSP, didn't see it long enough to notice, and glad it's that way. And NBSP, continuing the chivalry? And NBSP, yeah, of course. And NBSP, also thanks for the laughs you guys provided. I hope you all have a great day. And NBSP, edit 2, thank you to /u/FTP411 for the narration. She didn't notice that I noticed, but I noticed that I noticed, and I didn't want to notice that I noticed. Yo dog, I heard you like noticing. Upvoted for the too long didn't read. At least you know what to get her for her birthday. Something to cover up the location of your birthday. You poor bastard. That's one of those images that is burnt into your mind forever. I barely remember what my ex's boobs look like, but once I accidentally saw my sisters, and I reckon the scarring mental image is that strong, I could pick them from a lineup of 100 titties. Edit, grandma. It's horrible. I am amongst your ranks now, brother.